Long way, get this shit a long way, shit a long way. Long way, hit the long way, 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 shit long way, long shit long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, shit a long way. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shit, gotta get the shit long, finish rich, yeah. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shit. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta get a meal, but she don't understand. She be tripping every day, she be tripping every way. But I gotta get this shit a long way, gotta get this shit a long way. Tryna get money every single way, tryna get money every single day, yeah. Get money every single way, every day. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. I'm feeling like we be the new slaves. No, we gotta finish rich. No, we gotta finish rich. Got a new bitch, she don't understand rich. She don't understand niggas gotta get rich. She don't understand sometimes we gotta hit lit. No, we ain't hit lit. Tryna get the long way, yeah. Tryna get the shit the long way, yeah. Coach is tryna wrap up a entree, yeah. Told you the other day that did my phone strong. We gon' shoot the long way, we gon' get the long way, yeah. Yeah, get the shit long way. My bitch be trippin' back and forth like a phone way. My name is Tari, I ain't playing games, so I'm done talking. Yesterday she told me that she bout to leave, said fuck it, bitch, we gon' get some money. Said fuck it, bitch, I'm about to get some money. So what I do today, I want to get some money, yeah. Cause we gon' get the shit the long way, long way, we gon' get shit the long way, yeah. Back and forth like the pong way, yeah. Man, I'ma get the shit the long way, get the shit the long way. Just the only way today, because they go with shit's crazy. We gotta wear a mask, we the new slaves, and we be wearing this shit like every day. We be okay, we gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, they gon' be okay for them, yeah. So we gon' get the shit the long way, we gon' get the shit long way, we gon' get the shit the long way, we gon' get the shit the long way, yeah, we get the shit the long way, yeah, cause we gon' be okay, we gon' be okay, yeah, we gon' get the long way, yeah.
And all right. Hello, everyone. How are you? If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is LJ Young, and I am a 100% debt-free personal motivational speaker and personal finance, motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them mathematically see outside what I call the debt matrix. And the debt matrix is a place where slaves live. Now, there's two kinds of slaves. There's unconscious slaves, and there are conscious slaves. Unconscious slaves can't see negative numbers. All right? They can't see negative numbers. They have no idea negative numbers exist. Okay? Those are unconscious slaves. And so if you're new to the channel, you're probably, wow, that's weird. What do you mean nobody understands that? Here, I'll show you, especially for you people now that are new to the channel. I want you to make sure there's 100% clarity when you come to this channel. Okay. All right. Number one, I'm never, ever wrong, ever. Mathematically speaking, of course, ever. I'm never wrong with whatever answers I give you. And when I talk to you about what I can do about the ability to see negative numbers, I want to make sure you understand something, that I prove it to you. I just don't talk. All right. I show you using your own calculator so you can understand what I mean. All right. So if you're new to the channel and you believe you're a homeowner, I'm going to show you right now if you're an unconscious slave or not. Okay. Open up your calculator. I want you to put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and then hit equal. Now, this is what I want you to do now. While you're looking at the calculator, while you're looking at your own calculator, I want you to listen to the sound of my voice, okay? As you look at the calculator. The reason why you believe you're a homeowner is because you can't see negative numbers. Because if you could, you would know you're not a homeowner. All right? That's what I mean. So that's my gift. That's my gift, right? I have the ability to see negative numbers. That's my gift. All right. Now, conscious slaves were once unconscious. They decided to go ahead and believe what they saw in the calculator. And now they realize that that's way deep under zero, way deep under zero. They showed us all this in elementary school. If negative that, oh, yeah, that's pretty deep. That's way deep. Okay. Now they're doing whatever it takes. So they realize you're a slave. If you're under zero, you don't even own yourself. If your net worth is under zero, listen to me closely, okay? And what I'm saying is fact. I don't care if you believe it or not. It's mathematically true of what I'm saying. If your net worth is under zero, you are a slave. And you're probably thinking, what do you mean? Then if I'm a slave, who are my owners? I know that's what you guys ask, okay? I get it. You guys are slaves. You don't know anything, right? Log into your online credit report and take a look at the list of all your owners within your credit report. Look at all three. Those are all the businesses that own you. You're a slave. Do you understand? Conscious slaves realize that. Now, that was me. I was once what you call the high valued man that they deem high value in the debt matrix. Well, all these channels talk about the same stupid bullshit. It's all bullshit. However, you know what I was? I was all that college educated, six-figure earner, blah, blah, blah. But you know what I was in? Debt. I was nothing more than a high valued slave. That's it. That's totally it. That is it. I owned nothing. Long story short, woke up, found Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey basically said, take the math, the arithmetic that we all learned in elementary school. Yeah, that arithmetic. Take that, apply it to your personal finances using these baby steps. That's what he basically said. Put it in a nutshell. You know what I thought? Immediately, I thought like a slave. It can't be that easy. That's exactly what I said to myself, my college educated self, right? I did it, found out it was only arithmetic. That was it. Now I'm free. But I also realized something too. I was like, well, wait a minute, Dave. If it's arithmetic, what's religion got to do with it? Nothing. So I stripped that out. Then I took it Mr. Ramsey's baby step forward. He says, hey, when you get down to your mortgage, start putting away 15% of retirement. But according to arithmetic, I have 15% of nothing to put away to anywhere. What do you mean? Nothing exists. Exactly. What's that got to do with it? That's business, LJ. That's business. Got it. That's how business works, LJ. Got it. Understand, Dave Ramsey. Do your thing. Because what the trick is, if it doesn't make mathematical sense, there's usually a reason. It's either a scam or it's business. One or the other, okay? So now this is what I do. Long story short, so you guys understand my gift, I'm going to say it one more time. I have the ability to see negative numbers, something millions of people obviously cannot. That's obvious. That's clear. That's crystal clear. That is crystal clear. I know something millions of people do not. That is obvious. This is why when you come to this channel, if you want to change your financial life, I can 100% for a fact do it for you. I can help you do that. Guaranteed, and can prove it on paper. Excel spreadsheet, on your own calculator, however you want it, however you want it delivered to you, it will be correct. Now, with the ability to see negative numbers, you clearly see, hey, listen, none of that money, retirement plans, all that stuff. None of that stuff exists for you slaves. None of it. That's crystal clear too. That's obviously business. That's obviously business because you guys don't know you don't have no money. You don't know you can't save for retirement if you have no money. If you have no money, you can't save for retirement. You guys don't. That's obvious. You can't buy no house with no money. What do you think? Why do you think you're a homeowner if you cannot buy your house with no money? I'm showing you on a calculator. I'm telling you why. I'm telling you why. You can't see negative numbers. Let's do this one more time for people that just jumped in here that believe they're homeowners with a mortgage. Okay. I'm going to show you my ability that millions do not know that even exists. Okay. Put in your mortgage, open your calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance, and then hit equal. I don't want you to say a word. I want you to look at the calculator and listen to the sound of my voice. The reason why you believe you're a homeowner is because you can't see negative numbers. That's why you believe you're a homeowner. You see that same number? That's your equity. That's the equity that you believe you have in a house that you didn't even have the money to buy. That's why you believe you have equity in a house because you can't see negative numbers. I'm telling you right now why you can't, why you think that. While at the same time, I want you, as you're looking at the calculator, I want you to say to yourself too, how many people think the same? How many people can't see negative numbers like me? That's what I want you to say to yourself. And then you're going to look up, it's going to be millions. I'm trying to tell you. They don't know that because they can't see negative numbers. If you could, you know you can't buy real estate with no money. You can't do that. Who told you that? The bank? Like when you're buying a house or you're buying real estate, I want you to say to yourself, who's saying that I could buy this stuff? Obviously the bank. Aren't you going to their office signing papers? They're the ones telling you that you can. If you walk out of the bank after asking for their help and you believe you own something, that's on you. That's totally on you. The banks are not doing anything mad, bad, evil. Hey, who cares what slaves believe and think? It does not matter. It doesn't matter what they think. Is it important for them to continue to think that way? Hell yeah, it is. Yes, it is for sure. When you have the ability to see negative numbers, you won't care the opinions of slaves anymore. You won't care. It's like let me give you an example. When you guys go to all these YouTube podcasts, they're always talking about fucking somebody else or what they're doing and marriage and black people, this and that. This is what you need to figure out, okay? Are the majority slaves talking like that? Think about it. You just go in there and just listen to the way they speak. You'll know right away if they're slaves. If the majority of slaves, who gives a fuck of what they're talking about? Who cares what slaves are talking about? So what? While they're over there thinking it has something to do with color and race and where you live and this and that, they have no idea it's negative numbers. If they could see negative numbers, they would immediately know it has nothing to do with any of that. They don't know physical money is positive and negative. They don't know that. They just think every physical dollar they hold in their hand, they automatically think it's positive. Who told you? Who's telling you that? The banks? It don't even matter how much money they have in their pocket. They don't know that. Why? I keep telling you because they can't see negative numbers. So imagine all these fools adding in their portfolio of retirement accounts and equity and stuff, all stuff they don't even own. They don't own none of it. You can't put away retirement if you ain't no money. You can't do that. According to simple arithmetic, that's impossible. 100% impossible. 100% impossible. I can tell you your retirement plan today. I can tell it to you right now, today. I can tell you how much you're going to retire with today. You know, when they always come up to you and say, "Hey, how much money do you think you need to retire by the year of this?" When skip all that. I can tell you today, right now, how much money you're going to retire with right now. You don't have to wait 10, 20, 30. Retirement's not an age, Slave. If you can see negative numbers, you guys would know that. Retirement is not an age. Who do you think's telling you that, slaves? Who's telling you that? Your other slave friends are telling you guys that. Anybody, I'm gonna give you guys some advice, slaves. You guys want to wake up and listen. Anybody telling you that retirement's an age? This is what I want you to turn and ask them. Do you have student loan debt? If they tell you yes, I'm telling you right now, that's why they think retirement's an age, because they have student loan debt older than their fucking children. That's why they think that. That's not normal to go to college for 4 years and have student loans that's 25, 26, 30 years old. That's not normal. Only slaves do that. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. I know you guys with student loan debt that's probably had it all your life. I'm gonna tell you something right now so you can understand, so you can get it out your ass or whatever you think it right now. Let me tell you something. As long as you have student loan debt, you'll never understand what I'm talking about ever, because you can't. That's impossible for you to ever understand. You'll never be able to see negative numbers ever. Even though I'm showing you negative numbers exist. Remember in grade school, the chart above the chalkboard? Yeah, it had a 0 in the middle. Positive numbers was on the right, negative numbers on the left. Remember that chart? Yeah, that's real. That chart says something. That chart says something. That says, "Hey, look." Whatever you think you're investing in right now, let me tell you something. I can tell you if you're right or wrong today. You don't have to wait 20 years. Retirement account, 401ks, IRAs. I'm telling you something. They don't exist, slaves. They don't even exist. Let me so you guys understand too, because I know you guys, when you hear it, you're like, "Wait, well, what do you mean? That doesn't make sense." Okay, this is what I want you to do. If you're a homeowner, okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance, and then hit equal, and just look at the calculator and listen to the sound of my voice. That's how much money you have that's how much money you have being used to contribute to your 401k year after year. That's how much money you have right there. That's how much money you're putting in the stock market. That's how much money you have to put in a IRA before, after tax, your HSA, whatever you can fucking think of, whatever. That's how much money you have to do it. The reason why you think you're doing it, I'm gonna tell you the answer right now, is because you can't see negative numbers. That's why you think that. That's why you think that. That's why you think you're a homeowner with a 30-year mortgage. You can't see negative numbers. I'm telling you the answer. You guys don't even understand what I'm saying. Wait till like Warren Buffett hears this, or Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. Wait till they hear. They say, "Wait, this black dude over here. He said, hey, Jeff, check this out." Because I guarantee you, Jeff, none of those guys will ever had heard this before. Maybe not. I can't really say that. But check this out. Once they hear this guy say, "Hey, this black dude over here said he can see negative numbers," I'm going to get their fucking attention. I promise you that. I promise. That's a promise. That is a 100%. I'm telling you, any Robert Kiyosaki, whoever's once they hear me say what my ability is, you guys can go fucking tell them. Go tell them. Say this dude said he knows something. He says he can see negative numbers. Does that mean anything to you? That's what I want you to go say. Does that mean anything to you? They're gonna say, who said that? Some SMD. You know what else he said? What? He said the whole system don't even exist. 401ks, and they're gonna say, what? Who said that again? Because they're gonna know. It doesn't matter if I say this out loud. You guys will never know what I'm talking about ever. You can't. You're slaves. You can't know. Due to your own choice, though. Let me tell you something. That's what's so beautiful about being able to see negative numbers. It's up to you to see them. It's totally up to you to believe your calculator or not. That's totally up to you. You want to know your financial future today? Right now, I can tell you. I can show you right now, guaranteed. Unlike anybody has ever told you before. Anybody, guarantee you, nobody has ever told you what I'm telling you. Nobody. That's guaranteed. Somebody can show you your financial future today and prove it. Have you ever heard of that? Probably never, ever. You never will either. Have you guys can't even fucking hear me. Slaves keep financing phones. Hey, slaves, are y'all going to continue work from home just because they're taking a little cut? Oh yeah, they're gonna work them like dogs now. They're gonna work them at home. It says you are no Creflo Dollar, so you cannot predict what the future holds. Financial, all we have to do is go to one that is ordained. I'm not even sure what you're meaning by that, Snuggles. Let me tell you something. I don't predict anything. I want to make sure everybody that comes to my channel, I want you to think I'm predicting anything. I'm telling you a fact. I'm not predicting shit. I can tell your financial future today, right now. There's nobody like me on YouTube. I want you guys to 100% understand this to be true. There is no other channel like this one. This is not like financial channels you go to and they say, hey, man, if you do this and the interest rate is that and it goes up and down here and the stock market does this and does backflips and jumping jacks, your thing is going to go up 15% annually. And this, you guys don't understand any of that. If you don't own yourself, don't worry about what they're saying to you because you don't even know you don't own yourself. I promise you this. Let me make sure anybody that thinks they're a financial fucking guru or anything like that, let me tell you something. If you don't know how much debt you're in today down to the dollar, and you're talking about the stock market and stocks and bonds and percentage rate, you have no idea what you're talking about. You know why? You don't even own yourself. You can't know about that. You don't even own yourself. If somebody walked up to you today and said, "Hey, do you know how much debt you're in?" and you turn to them and say, "I don't know." Anything outside your financial life is mathematically incorrect. That means you're a slave. So when you guys go to gossip channels and stuff, you guys are totally wasted. If those are slaves, and if the majority of people in those groups are slaves, which they are, you have no idea. You're just wasting the time of your life. They're talking about nothing. They're talking about slave shit. While they're doing that kind of stuff, you know what's going on in the background? Money shifts, movements, and everything that you guys. As long as you guys are busy in the debt matrix, hey man, do whatever you guys keep wanting to do. Think it has something to do with something, color and races and math. Art arithmetic has nothing to do with the color of your skin. 1 + 1 = 2, no matter what color you are. 1 plus 1 equals 2, no matter what neighborhood you live in, no matter what religion you preach. 1 plus 1 equals 2. That's it. That is it. It does. 1 plus 1 equals 2 if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter. If somebody says, hey man, 1 plus 1 equals 2. Oh, she only knows that because she's a woman. See how stupid that sounds? That sounds so stupid. That's what it sounds like when you hear slaves talk about money and think it has something to do with that shit. That's the first thing you think. When they talk about why something is a certain way or it's a certain color, I want you to say to yourself, what that have to do with 1 plus 1 equaling 2? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Oh, well, this area in the United States of America, what's that got to do with 1 plus 1 equaling 2? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's what, anytime you hear somebody, hey, listen, anytime you hear somebody talk about money, your financial future, cryptocurrency, whatever, as soon as you hear them add something in that has nothing to do with 1 plus 1 equaling 2, you disregard it. You instantly disregard it. But when you can't see negative numbers, you don't know that. I don't want anybody coming here thinking I'm predicting anything. I'm just telling you the obvious, the mathematical obvious. Gig economy is designed to get low skilled workers off the payroll. Yep, sure is. See what I'm saying? When I hear you guys call these things names, you guys call, hey, look at the gig economy. I'm just telling you guys something. That looks like the obvious to me. So when I hear somebody call it a name, and then I go, oh, they mean the gig economy when low skilled workers are doing this, like factories. Oh, okay. But I already knew that. I just didn't know you guys named it. That's all. One second. once once you realize it's just arithmetic, it takes your feelings out of it because slaves, I want you guys to clearly understand something. You guys are slaves by choice. Like when you go get a student loan, they tell you right there in the paperwork, hey, by the way, if you take this money, you got to pay it back. That's what it says. And it says you can't bankrupt it. It says that right in the paperwork. And then when you go and take the money, and then you get mad about what? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make no sense. And what that means is if you can't bankrupt it, I want you guys to clearly understand something. When you can't bankrupt it, that means you have to pay back every penny you borrowed, every single penny. Every single penny. If you don't, that means they own you until you're dead. It says that right in the paperwork. Why are you shocked? I don't get it. And if you're one of the people that have accepted having student loans until if your mortgage, if your student loans are older than your mortgage, let me tell you something. You're so far from being a homeowner, you have no idea, not a clue. You are the only one that doesn't. You guys don't know. You cannot buy a house. The only way to buy a house is in cash. Okay, that's the only way to buy a house. If you have student loan debt, that obviously means you have no cash. So if your student loans are older than your mortgage, you don't know you're not a homeowner because you cannot see negative numbers. You can't buy a house with student loan debt. But at the same time, I want you to understand something. That's important that you do. I want the majority to believe they can buy they can buy a house with a 30-year mortgage. That is important. I want you guys to clearly understand that you will never ever be able to buy a cell phone in cash, or at least the cell phone you want, which is the latest and greatest everyone that comes out. You guys have no money. If your student loans are older than yourself, if your student loans are older than the cell phone in your hand, that's why you're making phone payments. That's important, slaves. That's important. Yep, I think with these gig economies, with them now responsible. Have you noticed this? That's what I want you slaves to understand. Have you? And this is just the obvious, okay? Because you guys don't know anything. You don't know what to do once they kick you off a W-2. You're like lost little sheep. You have no idea what you're doing. Taxes, I got to do that myself now, and this and that. You guys are running around totally lost because you can't see negative numbers. Then the income of these secondary chime pay, all these afterpay. They're just coming, just shredding you guys apart like fucking piranha. It's like the business has dumped you into a gigantic lake full of full of subprime mortgage piranha. Okay. Now that you have been released from the big companies, now you're responsible for your own money. But you guys already think taxes are the reason why you guys are that's keeping you down. That's another thing that you guys are fucking up because you can't see negative numbers. You think taxes are the reason why you're not getting ahead. No, it's not. Taxes are your friends, slave. They're not your enemies. Taxes are your friends. Now these subprime people are going to shred you apart like piranha. Afterpay, get your check early. They just come in because they know you guys are not even making it paycheck to paycheck. You're not even making it. Those are worse than paycheck to paycheck. That means those places are saying you guys are not even making it to your next check. So we're going to get the money beforehand. They're trying to dip in before the banks do. They're like trying to cut out the banks. Do you know what they're doing? They're getting to you before the banks. Now that you're responsible for your own checks and 1099 and all this taxes and stuff, they coming in and getting you before you even be able to cash your check. And I'm gonna tell you something right now that you guys might have jumped in here and listened to so you can understand something, okay? When you heard me say taxes are your friend, I'm gonna tell you something, okay? You will never know unless you can see negative numbers. You can't know. You cannot see taxes are your friend if you can't see negative numbers. According to the number chart, that's according to the number chart we all learned in elementary school. Unless you, hey, yeah, see the left side with the negatives in the front of it and they're all red. Yeah, those numbers count too. But until you recognize that, you'll never know taxes are your friend. And let me make sure you understand this: if you are in debt, you will never know taxes are your friend because you can't. You don't know when you're in debt, you can't write off on taxes. That's a trick, slaves. That's a trick. And you're probably thinking, probably still confused. All right, I'm gonna show you again. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you again. Okay, all right. So open your calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance, and then hit equal. That's how much money you have to write off on taxes, right there. See it on the calculator? See that? That's how much money you have to write off on taxes. And you're probably thinking, wait a minute, LJ, that's a negative number. I know you can't, slave. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Those are key. You guys don't know listen to me closely, slaves. The only investment that's 100% guaranteed money on return every single year is taxes, slave. You know, it's so crazy because you guys are so gone. You guys don't really understand. Billionaires be doing it right in your fucking face. They be doing it right on TV. Hey, Amazon don't pay any taxes. All these billionaires don't pay any taxes. Well, all you got to do is just stop and think. Well, wait a minute. You got to think just like this, slave. Well, if they wasn't paying taxes, isn't that tax evasion? Ding, ding, ding. Does it look like they're getting tax evasion? If they're coming on TV telling you that they're not paying taxes, wouldn't that be tax evasion? So obviously it's not, slaves. What they're not telling you is this, slaves. In order to do what they're talking about, you can't be in debt. You can't do what they're doing as long as you're in debt. And the reason why you don't know that is because you can't see negative numbers. When you hear, like, when you guys go on these channels about these real estate moguls and seeing what they're doing, and they're using debt to buy properties and this and that, and all, you hear that, and then you think it applies to you. What they're not telling you is this, slaves. They're not in debt. They're not in personal debt doing it, slaves. You guys don't know that. You don't know that. They're not telling you that because it's business. If they told you that, you'd be like, wait a minute. Then that means I'll never be able to do what you're doing. No, you can't, slave. You can't do what they're doing while you're in debt. They're borrowing money debt free. They're not personally in debt. When you hear like a billionaire or somebody, he's renting, right? And you're thinking, oh my God, why is he renting? He's got money. Because you're not listening, slave. Okay, you got to think to yourself, why would somebody with so much money rent? You don't know to ask, hey, wait a minute, who are you renting from? His own company? His own company. Wait a minute. If I'm renting for exactly, slaves, there's a reason for that. When you can see negative numbers, slave, you don't want to personally own anything. So when you hear a billionaire talking about their renting, you got to fucking listen. You want to know your financial future today? Right here. You've come to the spot. You're not going to find another answer anywhere on the internet. It's more than just YouTube, the internet. When you can see negative numbers, you know exactly what your financial future is. I promise you that. You'll follow all the rules. No more. You won't do any more tax evasion. You won't be hiding money, not reporting money to the IRS. You'll stop doing all that stupid nonsense slaves do. Slaves don't know. Hey, slaves, you guys don't know you can't see negative numbers. It's like the IRS is like shooting you in a barrel. You can't see negative numbers. You have no idea what you guys be talking about. Makes absolutely no sense. Like, say, like, you're probably getting invested in the IRS now, right? The first thing they're gonna do is look at your personal credit report. Is gonna pretty much tell them everything they need to know why they're coming knocking on your door. IRS agents, look at the IRS agents as like the referees of the economy. They're here to make sure you follow the rules. That's what they're there for. You think you'd play if they didn't force you to play? As soon as you get out of debt and you're able to see negative numbers, you'll see, oh, that's why it's in place. Oh, that's why you can go to prison for tax evasion. Oh, that's why you don't have to hide money in this, because you don't have to. You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to do none of that. Those of you who don't believe me, this is what I want you to do. I don't care if it's business, personal, professional. This is what I want you to do. If you got a professional tax person, this is what I want you to do. I want you to ask that professional, are you debt free? If they say no, I want you to start secretly going to look for a tax professional who is debt free. And then when you find them, which is going to be very hard to find, okay, I promise it's going to be. But when you do, this is the first thing I want you to say to that person, or he or she. I want you to say, "Hey, SMD sitting." He said, "Go to you." He said, you are going to know something. And I want you to say it just like this. He said, you are going to know something that the majority of everybody in his field do not know. He or she's field that do not know. I promise you. You say that to them. They're going to probably say, hey, who told you that? You got a professional accountant. You find out if your professional accountant's in debt. If they say yes, if they still have their student loan debt, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go start secretly trying to look for an accountant who is debt free. And then when you find that professional accountant, you pay them whatever they're worth too. You pay them because they're going to get you triple the money back. Okay. You go to them and say, hey, I was listening to this dude SMD on YouTube. He said, since you're debt free, you're going to know something millions of other accountants don't know. He said, you're going to know it. I promise you, they're going to say, who told you that? They're usually higher priced. There's a reason for that. Andre, this is third world commerce right now. Sure is. And you're right, Andre. Uber's glorified third world taxi service, the ultimate low skilled. Exactly. When you guys don't understand the obvious, you can't see the obvious when you can't see negative numbers. That's the key. I want you guys to clearly understand that. That is the answer. That is the answer. There is no other answer. That is the answer. When you see all these people doing that, they're worth billions of dollars, and they have barely have any employees. Barely any employees. You guys are all 1099. Getting the money, spending it as you're getting it, spending as you're getting it. You guys don't know. This is different than W-2. This is different. This is different. And trust me, when you can't see negative numbers, I want you to clearly understand something. There's a clear difference between tax evasion and just tax stupidity. You can prove, say you just messed up on your taxes. You can prove that with math that you just messed up. Oh, you did this wrong. You did it. But when you can't see negative numbers, you can prove tax evasion. It's the same thing. It's a distinct difference. I promise you that. But now all these companies coming in your checks like vultures. Oh no, when you hear I'm gonna give you some examples. When you hear like companies trying to get you to go to them because they have no overdraft fees, that's for you slaves. The reason why you're attracted to bank accounts that have no overdraft fees because you can't see negative numbers. That's why you're attracted to that. You guys don't know when they say things like that, they're telling the world who they're talking to. They're talking to slaves. You don't know how much is in your own bank account? Yeah, they're taking advantage of you. You can't see negative numbers. Whose fault is that if you can't keep up how much money you have in your account? Whose fault is that? That's your fault, slaves. If you're relying on overdraft protection, protecting you from yourself, you're paying them to protect you from yourself. See how stupid that sounds? That sounds so stupid. That's why you guys think you got like 401. Listen. It's so stupid because it's funny when I even think about it. It's just the dumbest shit. It's just so stupid because I couldn't see negative numbers. So dumb. I remember investing in my 401k, right? And when you invest in what your job encourages you to do it all the time. Hey man, invest in your future, blah, 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 blah. You'll have this much money by 65. They have this whole laid out chart and everything, right? And you just first of all, when you're in debt, you have no money to put anything, so that money's not even yours. But anyway, every month they give you these pamphlets, right? Oh, this is how much your money's earning. This is how much money whatever company is doing, they all do the same. It's business, okay? It's nothing personal, right? This is how much your money's doing. This is how much it's going to be when it gets to this age, and then when it's is this how much growth is going to be. You're like, oh yeah, you probably barely even look at them. I think they send you a lot like that on purpose so you don't look at it. It's coming so fast. You guys don't understand that shit anyway, right? That's why they do it. And then you keep it's so okay. Okay, so you're thinking in your mind that okay, I'm gonna have this much in retirement, and then all of a sudden the stock market starts doing some backflips and some jumper jacks or something, and then all of a sudden it just all disappears. because the stock market did something. So you got to think about. So wait a minute. So all those projections that you were telling me was a lie because of one stock market hiccup. That doesn't make sense. You know why it doesn't make sense? Because it's not your money, slaves. That's why it's doing that. If you say like this, you had 100 grand in there, right? And it's climbing, it's doing all this stuff that the stock market said it does, right? And then all of a sudden the stock market has a hiccup, and then all of a sudden you lose like 50,000 because the stock market did a backflip or something or something, right? And then you got to think about, wait a minute, so all those pamphlets were lies? Yeah, those were lies, slave. That's a trick. That's what happens when you have no money. When you can't see negative numbers, that's what happens. Because if you had, just like this, if you have real money at a real 100,000, say like in a regular old savings account, right? You had 100 grand in there, and then the stock market did a backflip. Do you think anything would happen to your 100,000? No, because it's your money, slaves. That's why. That's the difference. You don't know that when you can't see negative numbers, slaves. You guys don't know that. Mathematically speaking, you're not, when you put to your retirement and they take off you're not really getting anything taken off. You're not. It just, I mean, it looks like that, but if you had no money, you can't do that. Like when you okay, do this. Open your calculator, put in your car payment minus your car balance, and then hit equal. All right. I want you to look at the calculator and listen to the sound of my voice. The reason why you think you're getting a 401k match is because you can't see negative numbers. That's why you think you're getting a match at work. All right. Now, I know this is where the glitch is in the debt matrix. It's confusing, right? You're going to be like, what? What? Okay. I'm going to say it one more time. Just while you're looking at the calculator, listen to the sound of my voice. The reason why you think you're getting a 401k match is because you can't see negative numbers. That's why you think you're getting a 401k match. See? Now you can believe the sound of my you can ignore the sound of my voice. You can ignore what your own eyeballs are looking at your calculator. You can ignore that too. You can ignore them both. I'm just saying, you can ignore them both and believe whatever you want to believe. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but it's totally up to you. Means no FICA, no workman's comp, none of that. They don't, no more vacation. They don't have to pay for vacation, sick leave, medical. You guys are on your own for the first time. It's like, you know what it's really like when you get kicked out of a W-2 as a worker, especially if you're in a slave and you don't know anything else, and you can't see negative numbers, and you don't know, you're lost, man. You're totally lost. You have no idea. You know how many people are out here on social media pretending with you guys? They don't know nothing. They're just doing whatever they're doing. They're getting out here. Listen, this is what most of them are doing. Okay, they're not going to tell you. They're getting out here. Some are coming out. They're being successful. You know what they're doing? They have no idea. They're going up buying more shit. They're making more money, right? They're no longer W-2. Now they're making more money. Guess what they're doing? They're going financing more shit. They don't know they got to pay taxes out of that money. And honestly, this is how I feel, right? If you coming from W-2 to a 1099, they give you like a cushion, man, like 2 or 3 years of cushion. Like, okay, there's a transition period. You gotta, okay, but what slaves do, they get out, and guess what they start doing? They start buying more shit, digging themselves deeper and deeper and deeper in debt, not paying taxes. And then buyers wait for about 3 years to where you dig yourself nice and deep. And then they come knocking on the door and say, hey, man, you've been making all this bread. Where's the taxes at? Oh, I didn't know. Is that what you're going to say? I didn't know. They're going to be like, well, 3 years ago, you didn't have this house in Beverly Hills. You didn't have 2 Bentleys in the garage. You didn't have those. So what you mean you didn't know? What's that mean? Oh, hey, well, okay, well. This is what happens when you do that. This is what happens. They sleep. Hey, that's important, Sal's. Even though I'm here talking on the mic, let me tell you something. That's important. I don't want you slaves to wake up. I don't. I do not. It's lovely over here, man. You guys, when billionaires, let me tell you something. When billionaires and millionaires talk, you guys have no idea what they're saying. I promise you that. You guys have no idea. You can tell between the real ones and you can tell between the fake ones. There's a lot of fake millionaires out there. I'm gonna just tell you guys that right now. You guys, you can't tell. If you can't see negative numbers, you can't tell. Even the fake millionaires out there that also can't see negative numbers, they have no idea what I'm talking about. Not a clue. Not a clue. Like when you hear people say things like, "Oh man, how's the one channel with less subscribers going to tell another channel who's bigger that got million?" Because that got nothing to do with nothing. You know what that sounds like when you say things like that, especially when it comes to money. Uh, the guy's channel with 1 million subscribers, if he said 1+1 =2, I'm gonna trust him more than the person with 1 subscriber that says 1+1 =2. That's what it sounds like. See how stupid that sounds? That's how it sounds when you talk anything to do with money. Anything. The world is totally different. Totally different. And what's so crazy about it, once you I had to figure out the answer first. The answer is the ability to see negative numbers. That is the answer. I want you guys to clearly understand that. That is the answer, right? Then you got to slowly accept. You got to slowly accept it. And let me tell you something. You got to do that slowly. You have to do that slowly. You have to do it slowly. Because it counts on your age, really. Like if you wake up let me say it like this. Say like you woke up and said, "Hey, LJ, you know what, LJ? I've been hearing you. I've been listening to you for years. I want you to teach me ability to see negative numbers." I'm gonna say it like this. If you are 50, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna have to brace yourself. Because you're gonna have to be mentally strong. You're gonna have to be mentally strong to accept, because this is what's gonna happen. Once I help you get the ability to see negative number, guess what you're going to do? You're going to look at your financial past. You're going to look at your credit reports. You're going to look at all that stuff on there and be like, holy. Slaves' credit reports are multiple pages of credit. Some slaves have multiple pages on their credit report. My credit report is barely a quarter of a page. It's still technically one page, but I'm just telling you, information within that one page is like at a quarter. Nothing's on it. You guys don't know that. You don't know that. All I got to do is anybody, listen, anybody. First of all, it's a language, okay? Let me I call it the language of zero, okay? It's a language. All I got to do is just listen to anybody talking about finances. All I got to do is listen to them for like 5 seconds. I'll know right away if they can see negative numbers or not. I'll know right away. You guys, like, those of you talking about like cryptocurrency, let me tell you something. All you gotta do is just listen to the way the billionaires talk about does it sound like they take it serious? When you hear a billionaire talk about cryptocurrency, because anybody, when you can see negative numbers, you see it doesn't exist. Like cryptocurrency don't exist. The fact that anybody can come up with cryptocurrency should be a hint to you slaves. Shouldn't that be a hint? Wait a minute. Anybody can invent their own cryptocurrency? Yeah, slave. Don't you find that weird? I tell you what, why don't you come and why don't you try to make another dollar bill, a different type of dollar bill, and see what the fuck happens to you? Try to do it. Try to do it. Right there on the website, they tell you how much they make $100 bill, 14 cents. So if you go over there and say, wait a minute, well, if you make it for 14 cents, why do I got to be 100? Because we said so, slave. That's why. Don't you worry about it. Yeah, we made it for 14 cents, but to you, slave, it's 100. Now get the fuck on. That's how they talking to you? But it's totally up to you. They tell you right to your face. Crypto ain't real. Paper money ain't even real for you slaves. You guys don't even, money's positive and negative, slaves. It's positive and negative. The reason why you don't know, because they don't print negative dollars, slave. That would be stupid. What if they forced you to keep negative dollars on you if you were in a financial negative? We would see you guys everywhere. We could see you without just pretend like this, okay? When we see you, you pretty much have negative dollars just pouring out of your pockets, out of the houses and cars. You're leaving a trail of it all over the place. Just think of the paper dollars that are green, turn them all red. But these red dollars, it's everywhere because nobody wants them. They're everywhere. They're littering the street. You guys would wake up if you guys could see that, but we don't want you to see that. I don't want you to see that. Imagine what they're going to do to you guys with cryptocurrency, invisible money. Hey, look at you guys over here mine it and run these stupid ass numbers. And hey, there's only so many. There's a limited amount, and the guy's encrypted. And there's okay, blockchain, this, whatever. They just be making up shit. None of you listen, slaves. None of you guys can prove it. The majority of people that even talk about cryptocurrency, how can you prove any of that? That's prove it. You can't, slaves. You can't prove it. They know you won't prove it. You know what? They know you can't prove it. You know why? Because it doesn't exist. How is anyone going to prove something that everybody knows that doesn't already exist? See, slaves, you guys can't see negative numbers. You don't know that. What you gonna do? Google it? What's Google gonna tell you? Basically, Google is pretty much a collective of all you slaves that did be making up shit, and then you guys Google it, and then they just kicks you back an answer. Google's not going to be able to say, hey, check this out. What you're looking for, you're never going to find it because cryptocurrency doesn't exist, slaves. That's why you're never going to find it. Google's not going to tell you that. This is something that you already have to know. Next time somebody talks to you about cryptocurrency, say, put it in my hand. Put cryptocurrency in my hand. Put it in my hand. That's what I want you to say. Put it in my hand. Okay, now put a $100 bill in my hand. Yeah, okay. Do we have anything other than this $100 bill that we could use? No. No. Put credit in my hand. That's, you guys don't know, cryptocurrency been here for decades. It's called credit, slaves. One's regulated and one's not. That's the only difference between cryptocurrency and credit. One's regulated and one is not. One is like the wild, wild west, but you guys don't know. You guys are running around with guns with no bullets in it. When you can't see negative numbers, when you're running around the economy, you're running around like with a gun with no bullets in it, going to gunfights. And all your guns have see-through magazines. So if you pull up with an AK with a drum in it, the drum is see-through. We can clearly see you ain't got no bullets because you can't see negative numbers. And the majority of these financial channels, man, they're just taking your bread, all because you can't see negative numbers, all because you think retirement's in the future, slaves. It's not in the future. The future doesn't even exist. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to start enjoying life at age 65. You don't even take care of yourself today. You're going to enjoy life at 65. All you got to do is look in the mirror. Do you take care of yourself today? Yeah, no. What makes you even think you're going to make it to 65? A slave and not taking care of your body, and you think something's miraculous going to happen with your health and your money at 65, and you're not doing either. You're not handling either of them today. Why would you think anything like that? Because you can't see negative numbers. That's why, slaves. You want to know your financial future today? Right now is the time. Right now. Right now. Hold on a second. There's the link. But I warn you, which is a good thing, once you're able to see negative numbers, there is no unseeing negative numbers. You can't unsee it. You can't unsee it like you did before when you were a kid, because obviously you did unsee it, because we all learned about them in elementary school. So you unsaw them once, but that was as a kid. But once you see negative numbers as an adult, there is no unseeing. Once you understand, there's no lying, scheming, scamming, ripping off people, cheating anybody, cheating on your taxes, doing people dirty with money. No, none of that is allowed here. That is not allowed. None of that is allowed. That's for slaves. Slaves do that stuff. Once you're out of, you don't have to show them anything. You don't have to show them fancy cars and houses and jewelry. You don't have to do none of that. You just let them believe whatever they want to believe. If they believe money looks like that, just let them believe it. Let them believe whatever they want to believe. And you create a successful business, using that they can't see negative numbers. As long as you're doing it legally, hey, do your thing. Whatever, man. I don't care. I don't care what business is. If they're helping you with your credit report, or they're doing something that's going to benefit your ups, do your credit. As long as they're doing MLMs, all that stuff. As long as what they're doing is legal, hey, it's A-okay in my book. I don't care. That's your problem if you can't see negative numbers. They tell you, every slave knows, like the credit report agencies, every slave knows those are private businesses. They're not hiding anything. Wait, is that yeah, that's private. All three of those guys, those are private businesses. What about it? If they're private, that means they're for profit. Yeah, ace in the hole again. Yeah, what about it? You keep hitting birdies. How come you don't believe it? Because that's century. You guys got that's centuries of work. That's centuries. That's, hey man, I have a newfound respect for billionaires, big banks. I have a newfound respect. Ah, shit. It was just my fault. Yep, it was just me. You mean to tell me you guys aren't lying, cheaters, hoarders of money, and doing everybody? Nope, doing none of that. Nope. Mm-mm. We got so much money. Why wouldn't we want to just share it with the many people? There's too much. Once you come over here, it doesn't even exist for slaves anyway. You guys don't know currency in any form doesn't even exist for you slaves. None, zero, none of it. You guys think gold is special because it's shiny. Diamonds aren't rare. That's not true. You guys gonna when you really find out what the purpose of when you see the ability to see negative numbers, when you see that, then you're gonna realize, wait a minute, time is the most valuable thing on earth. Sure is, it's time. You're right about that. You're gonna be dead. Wait, then you're gonna be like, wait a minute, there's 7 days in a week. Yeah, that's true. My employer owns 5 of them. Ding ding, there you're hitting birdies again. Yeah. You mean I only get 2 days out of 7 days for the rest of my life? If that's what you choose, you'll clearly understand that Saturday and Sunday, those are not special days. They're not special. Hold on for a quick second here. All right, sorry about that. Now is just the time. Now that I'm armed with what my gift is, and I say armed, it's just, I don't know. Once you find your gift, you just know it. When I used to hear other motivational speakers, they talk like that, they say, "Hey, I found my gift," and you kind of hear it when you don't really know because you don't own yourself. That's the only key. The difference between other motivational speakers and myself. They tell you to believe in yourself. That part is true. But what they also don't tell you is that you must first own yourself. By owning yourself shows you that you believe in yourself. By doing whatever it takes to own yourself. Now, if you go on and believe that you're okay with not owning yourself, that's what you'll do for the rest of your life. That's the difference. They don't tell you that part. There's so many. Look at me as the piece between yourself and the motivational speaker that you might be listening to today. I'm the gap between those two. I help you own yourself. Once you own yourself, you'll be able to hear what they're trying to tell you. Some of those motivational speakers, maybe they know this piece, maybe they don't. I'm figuring like this: if they did, they would tell you. You must first own yourself. Owning yourself by default tells you that you believe in yourself by default. I am the only person that I guarantee you I can change your life. All you got, and I can give you the plan to do it. You'll thank me for the rest of your life. You will thank me for the rest of your life. You'll never forget me, ever. You'll never forget me, SMD. There will be no other channel like SMD. No other channel like SMD. You'll never forget SMD, ever. Once SMD shows you how, once I show you how to own yourself, Nothing will be able to stop you from doing whatever you want to do in your life. Nothing. There are no limits. Once you own yourself, and you know millions of people that do not own themselves, aka slaves, you'll never listen to the opinions of slaves again. You won't care what they say about you. You won't care what they do. You won't care how they talk about you and behind your back, think it's this and that. It doesn't matter. They're slaves. Who cares what they say? Are they making student loan payments? Yeah. Who cares what they think? They got car payments? Yeah. Who cares? Who cares what they say? Doesn't matter. Can't answer their phone because of bill collectors? Who cares about their thoughts? Who cares? Doesn't matter. Your whole world will change. You'll be laser focused. Do all the things all the other slaves are scared to do. I knew for a fact this road that I was on, I knew it was going to be a challenge. I knew it was going to be a big challenge. When I first woke up in early 40s, I was on this journey with a promise of nothing. A promise of nothing. Get out of debt. Nobody was doing it. Quit my job. Are you crazy, LJ? I can't believe you're living with your sister. Blah, blah, blah. All the slaves. All they're really doing is telling you what they were to be too terrified to do. Quit a job. How many slaves do you think would quit a perfectly six-figure job with a promise of nothing? Not many. Not many. Why? No answer. Why are you quitting, LJ? I don't know. Where you going? I don't know. What are you going to be doing? I have no idea what I'm going to do. All I know is the universe said, go this way, period. Just keep going this way. Why? It don't answer why. It never answers you why. It just says this way. You trust me or not? All the way to the end. You know what it was? The ability to see negative numbers. Go the long way, LJ, to figure out the shortest way. What's that? The ability to see negative numbers. Right now, here's why it's revealed to me right now. I have no idea why it was revealed to me. I've been going at this for years, but it wasn't revealed to me till just now. Why now? Okay, I'm about to find out. I'm for surely about to find out, obviously. It decodes the whole any economy with capitalist economy that decodes the whole thing. Oh, wow, we got student loan problems here. Yeah, same thing in Canada. Sure is. Do we got the same kind of system? Sure do. That's why. Now, when I look at money, like when I look at the symbols in front of money, the dollar sign and the UK sign, you know what I see? This is the only thing I see when I see that now. Hey, when you come here, this is the paper we use. We use this paper here. You can tell by the symbol. That's what we use here. Okay. Oh, that's euro. Okay. All right. That's Canadian. Okay. Okay. Whatever. Queen, different color. Whatever. Hey, man, whatever your rules are in that country, as long as it's capitalist, I'm good. I'm good. Because if it's capitalist, that means the majority must be slaves. That's all I need to know. Okay, what's your tax system here? Why you do? Okay, you guys do things here. Okay, you got to pay this. You got to do that. Got it. All right, whatever. You don't even have to know the system. All you got to do is just take, as long as you understand negative numbers, you just go over to the other country and say, hey, which one of you guys in the areas that I need you guys to be there, and make sure you're debt free. That's it. That's it. You know the taxes in this country? Yeah, you're debt free? Yeah, okay, you're hired. What are you trying to do? I'm trying to start this business. I need you to figure out every single tax break available in the city and state and whatever. That's all. Because the investment is taxes. It's nothing else. Everything else is for you guys to raise capital for them by buying their stocks with money that doesn't exist. You guys reinvest. So they pay you and you get the money right back to them. That's how they grow. That's how they grow. They say, hey, man, you invest in this, you invest in a company, man, and we'll give you back this and that. You don't know you ain't got no money. You ain't got no money. It's actually funny when you think about the shit. It's like, damn, right in my face, right in my face. Hey, give us you get this, get up to 6%, and then we'll do a match, and then okay, well, okay, so you pay me, and then I'm just giving you the money right back after taxes. After taxes. If you guys knew, you guys were literally, I mean, literally, you guys are literally slaves, literally. Because if you got student loan debt that's years old, your student loan debt is not your only debt. It's not. By default, it's not. I'm going to say that one more time. If your student loan debt is your oldest debt, by default, you got other debts. By default. I know for a fact you got car payments, student loan payments, credit card payments, mortgage payments, late fee payments, overdraft, guaranteed, because your student loan debt is your oldest debt. That means you can have no money, none, zero. Hands versus food says, so if that after tax hits home, yep, you already paid your taxes and your income and give it right back to them, right? See, because this is what slaves don't know. You guys can't. This is what you guys can't see. It's called phantom income. The reason why it's phantom to you is because you can't see negative numbers. You can't see negative numbers. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys an example of a phantom tax you pay because you're slaves and you can't see negative numbers. Okay, all right. Here's an example. If I go buy a car and the car is $10,000, it'll be $10,000 plus tax. So say like the car was 10,000 with tax, it came up to 12,000. Okay, I give them $12,000 cash for the car. I leave. It's done. You come up, since you don't know the very reason why you're financing the car is because you have no money, because you can't see negative numbers. You don't know that. That's why you're financing the car, because you have no money in the first place. So if the same car was $10,000 plus tax, you don't have the money for the car. That automatically by default means you don't have the money for the taxes either. So not only are you financing the car, you're financing the taxes too. That's called phantom. That's a phantom tax that you guys pay because you can't see negative numbers. And then on top of that, once you finance the taxes too, they bundle it all together and put a bow on top of it called interest rate. You're financing taxes at an interest rate. That's called phantom tax for slaves that don't know. You guys don't know that? That's called phantom tax. You can't see it if you can't see negative numbers. You guys don't know that. So when you hear slaves talking about, oh, at least I can write off the interest on my interest of my home off my taxes, you're happy to write off something that you don't even have to have in the first place? You're not writing off anything, slave, because you didn't even have the money to buy the house. How can you write off something that you didn't even have the money to buy? You see what I'm saying, slaves? You guys don't know that. So you look on your tax form, it says, yep, looks like they took it off. Okay, whatever you believe, slave. Whatever you believe. That's how it works, slave. That's everything you guys do. Everything you finance. Listen, Everything you finance, not only are you paying full price for it, you're financing the taxes too, slave. You guys don't know that because you can't see negative numbers. You don't ever stop and say, hey, wait a minute. I've been working all my life. Why do I have to finance a phone? I've been working for 20 years and I don't even have $1,000 to buy a phone. No, you don't, slaves. You don't have money to buy anything. I keep telling you guys, wait till you come across, wait till some millionaire or billionaire hears me and they say, hey, man, this dude over here said money don't even currency, no currency exists at all. They're gonna say, who said that? This dude over here, man, he said he took Einstein's quote of the eighth wonder of the world being this, and he added this in there. Does that make sense to you? He added this inside of Einstein quote of talking about compound interest. Does this make sense to you? Who you think even has attempted to do that? Look at an Einstein quote and say, I can make that a little more clearer. I can make that make just a little bit clearer sense. You think I would have ever saw that if I couldn't see negative numbers? You think I would even attempt to look at an Einstein quote about the compound interest? No way, Jose. Why I've been given such a gift, I have no idea, but I love it. Thank you. Now, when I look at all those billionaires, I be saying, "Oh, they just knew before me." That's it. That's the only reason why they're there where they're at, because they knew before me. They probably was in the family. Because you better believe, once you understand negative numbers, you're going to teach your children. Guaranteed that's not. It's not even going to be an option. The One of the good things that, I mean, I don't know if you want to call. Once you can see negative numbers, you're going to see how many people are doing you slaves so dirty. You're going to see how many they're just doing you guys bad too. Some know it, some don't. Some just, I mean, the majority. Put it this way: the majority of it's just business. Okay, I'm just saying it's nothing personal. It's just business. Okay, but once you can see negative numbers, you're going to feel pretty bad because the long way. Listen, the long way to financial wealth, the long way, it is the hard way. It's the long way, but once you find out what the ability to see negative numbers, I'm gonna just skip to the chase. The ability to see negative numbers, you're gonna see it's the shortest way. You're gonna Once you understand that everything you're seeing, right? It doesn't really exist. It doesn't. Stock market, crypto, even paper money, even paper money. I'm kind of like giving you guys a hint, right? If you just go look how much it costs to make $100 bill, right? You'll see that it's 14 cents. That's a hint. Right there is like, hey, there's something you can't see here. There's something here you can't see. There's something here you can't see. Wait, I can go to prison for how long? For 15 years for tax evasion? I didn't kill nobody. Murderers are getting 20 years. You mean you're going to send me to prison for 20 years for tax? Yeah. All you got to do is take a step back and say, why is that? Once you can see negative numbers, you're gonna be like, oh, that's why. Sort of like face mask in a 15. You see how a face mask is a severe penalty in football? It's the same thing. But this is the economy. Because you hear slaves talking about that all the time. Man, so and so got 15, 20 years for tax evasion. Damn, he didn't kill nobody. You got to take a step back and say, yeah, you're right. He didn't kill nobody. So why do you think that's so severe? There's a reason for that. John says, yeah, as soon as you go to zero net worth, it all becomes clear, totally clear. And I'm saying it to you, this John, the answer is the ability to see negative numbers. That's the ability. The ability to see negative numbers. That's the answer. You know what it's like to be able to just show somebody on a calculator and say, hey, the reason why you believe you're a homeowner because you can't see negative numbers while they're looking at the calculator. Because have you noticed, like when you see bills and stuff, and I haven't seen one in a long time, but when you see bills that you got to pay coming in, have you noticed there's no negative in front of it? They never put a negative in front of it. Have you noticed that? Because if they all came in and they were all negative and all red, everything, the whole paper red, you'd be like, well, why is everything red? You guys would wake up. But since you don't know that there's not a negative in front of it because you can't see negative numbers, you guys don't know that. For example, you guys do, believe it or not, unconscious slaves, you guys are the biggest earner of compound interest. You guys are the biggest. You guys are the masters of compound interest. You guys don't know that. You probably thinking, what do you mean? Negative compound interest. That's what you guys do every day. Every single day, you guys have that mastered. You don't know your life would change if you did it positively. You guys don't know that. When you go finance a car for 84 months, yeah, that's called negative compound interest. You went and got a loan and compounded it for 84 months negatively by paying interest. Negative compound interest. You can't do that. You cannot do that at the same time. You cannot earn negative compound interest and positive compound interest at the same time. At least you can't. Ta-da! Negative compound interest. That's what the part Einstein left out of his quote about the eighth wonder being compound interest. This is the part he left out. He didn't tell you that there were two types of compound interest: negative compound interest and positive compound interest. Positive compound interest, those who understand it earn it. Negative compound interest, those who don't pay it. Maybe he wanted to go in that. Maybe he didn't want to go in that deep. He's like, fuck. Maybe he thought, if you don't know about negative number, that's your problem. I don't feel like going that much detail. Maybe that was his thought process. Or maybe he just automatically assumed that you guys would know that there's two. Maybe he assumed that. But I'm here to tell you there are two kinds. Exactly. Only when they're crediting you back. You're right about that. They sure do. Don't they? Everything I'm telling you is obvious. I'm not predicting anything. I'm not guessing at what I'm saying. I'm telling you the mathematical truth because I can see negative numbers. That's what I'm telling you. Like when I look at, you know how when they go, if you pull your retirement money early, there's going to be a penalty, and then there's a tax penalty. It's more like that they put that there for a deterrent, right? For you not to do that. That's the purpose of that's why it's so harsh. It's like, we don't really want you doing that, but if you do it, this is what's going to happen, right? But it's also there for people that wake up, because there's different ways you can still do it. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay a penalty, right? But there's a way to bring it down to where, okay, you're gonna be paying taxes regardless. I'm just saying the penalty on top of taxes, right? It's almost a way of saying, okay, you figured it out, but you're still gonna have to pay. Okay, you're still gonna have to pay. Yeah, you figured it out. Ha ha. All right, but you still gonna have to pay. Not as much as a slave would pay, but you're gonna pay. Exactly. The statement is an example of seen unseen. It's actually, hey man, hands down, it's beautiful. You guys got me good. Hey, whatever. And I'm a smart dude. I'm a smart dude. And they got me good. College ain't got nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter where you went to school. Okay. Doesn't matter what college you went to. Doesn't matter what if you got a PhD, a doctorate, 5 masters. Don't None of that matters. None of it. I'm gonna give you an example. So you guys that don't know you're closer to freedom than you really think you are. Those of you that didn't go to college and feel bad, right? You ain't got no college debt. You didn't go to college, but you also don't got no college debt either, right? And now you feel bad by these people that claim to be higher educated. They got all these degrees. They went to this school and they look like that. This is the only thing I want you to do when you come across people like that. This is what I want you to do. Are you still paying on your student loan debt? Oh, the so and so got a PhD and they got a doctorate and this and that. You say like this: are you still paying student loan debt? If they tell you yes, it doesn't matter what doctor. They don't own that. They don't own that piece of paper. You see that nicely framed PhD and masters they have in there? They don't even own the piece of paper in the frame, and they're framing it with money that they didn't even have the money to buy the frame, but they bought it and framed the piece of paper that they don't even fucking own. Don't even own it. Don't even know it. If they have that, don't worry about it. They're just high value slaves. They don't know they're slaves. They do not know they are slaves. Who cares what they're wearing? Who cares what they're driving? Who cares what neighborhoods they live in? Who cares what schools their kids go to? Who cares what kind of cars they drive? Who cares what kind of vacations they go on? They are high valued slaves. It doesn't matter what they do. Doesn't matter what they talk about. Doesn't matter what their business looks like. It doesn't matter what they tell you they're investing in. They have no money to invest in anything. Nothing. They don't know their whole life is a mathematical illusion. They don't fucking know that. So don't be jealous. Don't be impressed to where they live, their cars. Don't be impressed by. Do you guys still own that? Yeah. Who cares? They're slaves. You guys are closer to zero than them. The people that you guys are admiring with all these degrees, they are hundreds of thousands of dollars away from zero. By you not having those student loan debt, you know how close you are? You're probably about $10,000 away from zero. You probably think your little $5,000 bill, they're like, man, that's man, I ain't got no money. You guys are $5,000 away from freedom. Those people that you guys are impressed by, they're hundreds of thousands of dollars away from freedom. Hundreds of thousands. So when you walk in their office and you see their degrees on the wall, you just turn to them and say, "Hey, what year did you grad?" You look on the no. This is what you do. This is what you do. They always like to display the fucking degrees, right? You just go up and look at them and look at the year they graduated, right? And then when you get in conversation, say, "Hey, by the way, you still got student loan debt?" Or say something like, uh, hey man, I hope Biden forgives some of the student loan debt. If they get all hyped up and wrapped up in your conversation, that means by default that they still have student loan debt. Because if you didn't have student loan debt, you wouldn't care what Biden's doing with student loan debt, right? But if they get hyped up and say, "Oh yeah, I really hope so," This is what you do. You take 2021 minus the year you see they graduated on their degree. And then you got to think to yourself, if you have so much money, why have you had student loans for 20 years? You mean you haven't paid off your student loans? Your business, your student loans are older than your business. And then you got to think to yourself, if they have student loan debt, they can't everything that you're seeing, it's a mathematical illusion because they can't own it. They have no money. They're telling you right there they got student loans. If they haven't paid off their student loans, by default, that tells you they have no money. Because if you had millions of dollars, why would you keep student loans for 20 years if you have millions of dollars? That makes absolutely no sense. That makes no sense. What's up, Geek Surgeon? When you learn this, you receive taxes, not pay it. Yep, you receive taxes, not pay it. The educated are the most. They sure are. I was one of them. I never forget when I was first getting out of debt. You know, you learn a lot of lessons as you're getting out of debt. But anyway, I remember as I was getting out of debt, I remember I had got a raise which had broke the 6-figure mark for me. Okay. And while I was getting out of debt, I was like, oh, cool, I got a raise. That means I'll have more money to put towards my debt. So I started calculating the money in my head of how much my paycheck difference will be, right? And I was like, cool, I could put that much more money on my debt. I was like, cool. So I was waiting for that next check. I was waiting for the next check. And then all of a sudden when I got paid, I made less on my check than the last check before the raise. And I thought to myself, I was like, what the how could I just got a raise. How could I make less? I moved up a tax bracket. This is when I finally started understanding tax bracket, because for the longest, before I broke 6 figures, I never bothered to know what that's a key. Okay. That's a key point too. Anybody that understands money, you ask them, hey man, what tax bracket are you in? If they don't know, that's a sign. That's a red flag. Anyway, what happened is I broke 6 figures, right? But I got less on the next check. I was like, because you kind of hear this when in debt matrix. Hey, remember, the more you make, the more they take. But nobody really explains what that means to if you don't understand negative numbers, you don't really know what that means, right? But anyway, that's what happens. So that's what made me look toward. I said, okay. I thought to myself, okay, how can I change that? And then it made me look at the 401ks, right? The 401k retirement, because you got to remember, I have no debt at this time. Or I'm getting low. I'm getting really close. But I was like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me if I deposit this amount into my 401k, it'll drop me down back into my previous tax bracket, which would not only allow more money on my check, it would also put money into my retirement account at the same time. It's like double dipping. And I was running this at home in my head. I was like, that should just make sense. That means that would give me more money to put towards my debt. And that's exactly what I did. I said, okay. And then once I got out of debt, I was like, so wait a minute. If I fully fund my 401k of almost $20,000 per year, it's like 19.5 or 19 back then, right? I said to myself, wait a minute. That'll almost $20,000 would drop me way low in my tax bracket, which would save money, which is phantom income, and also putting that same amount of money into my 401k while it's growing or doing whatever it's doing in the stock market. Yeah, that was a win-win, baby. That was a win-win. But you got to remember, had I never got out of debt, I would have never been able to afford to put $19,500 away in the 401k. If you're in debt, how many times you ask anybody, the majority of unconscious slaves, like when you come up and say, hey man, are you fully funding your 401k? The first thing they say is, oh yeah, I'm getting a match. That's not what you're talking about. I'm talking about $19,500 in 1 year. Hell no, they ain't doing that. I guarantee you, how long you've been working, I guarantee you, nobody you know has ever fully funded a 401k in who you work with. Guarantee they have not. Guarantee. Because I remember The last year I worked, I did that, right? I remember you could log into this account thing. You move the bar up to how much you want to deposit. Contribute to your 401k in 1 year, you could just move the bar, right? So I went in there, I said, okay, I'm gonna do the full 19.5 because I had no debt. So I moved the bar up. Do you know HR called me? Hey, yeah, Mr. Young, yeah. We noticed that you had moved the bar all the way up, and do you know how much that's gonna come out per check? I said, yeah, I did it. They were like, oh, okay, we just thought it was a mistake. What I didn't know is that I had right there, that move right there, without even knowing it, I had did something millions of people don't do. I didn't know it. I didn't know it at the time. That's why I got the HR call, right? Because I was just like, oh, that's weird, But no, because millions of people don't do that. I bet you I was probably one of 5 people that probably ever did that in the company. Moved the bar all the way up to take a full almost $20,000 out of my check to deposit in the 401k. Guaranteed. But I didn't know it at the time. But they was like, oh, okay, we just want to make sure you didn't make a mistake. I was like, oh, okay, thank you for calling. All right, cool. And I remember when I was leaving, I remember the CEO of the company wanted to talk to me before I left. We never said more than 2 words to each other. But you want to see me before I leave? That shit didn't make any sense to me. But anyway, that was the reason. John says, I tell you right now, it feels good to not have student loan debt. You better believe it. That's power, baby. LJ, I was just thinking about not having school debt. I never realized how close to freedom I am. Exactly. You know how many people right now that are walking around feeling so bad because they didn't go to college? You guys have no idea how lucky you are right now. You have no clue. You got the people with college degrees making you feel bad. Those are slaves. Trust me, the majority of people that you're jealous of with college degrees, they wish they were you with no student loan debt. I'm telling you. You ask them, man, hey man, would you do this all over again? The majority of them will say, hell to the fucking no, I wouldn't do that. Nope. And you guys hear me. I don't hardly cuss, but those right there, when I'm saying that's important for you guys to really understand the significance of that. They would not do that all over again. I promise you that. Why you guys feeling bad about not going to college and doing this? Hey man, those days are done. College degrees, they don't mean what you think they mean. Okay. This is about this economy's totally different. This economy's totally different. Don't be like the majority of people right now signing up for all these online colleges. You guys have no idea the amount of student loan debt being taken out as we speak. Oh, I bet you it's never seen before records amount of student loan debt being taken out right there. Those numbers, oh, don't worry about Googling it. They ain't up there. You guys will get about 2023. You guys will see the numbers. People right now that have lost their jobs, they're thinking, oh man, higher education is the answer. They're telling you on TV. This is the answer. Go to school here, go to school here. You guys are pulling out records amount of student loan debt. Let them do it. Hey, let them do it. That world's different. Those days don't count anymore. Dave Bourne says, you were the first person I ever heard say that, LJ. Phantom income, low tax bracket. Exactly. I keep telling you guys, I would have never saw it if I couldn't see negative numbers. I'm just telling you that now. Taxes make you rich, slaves. Taxes not your enemy. Taxes help you become rich. You're going to do something millions of people don't know. They can't save money on taxes. When you're in debt, you can't save it. You can't even see it. All you got to do is the opposite of the majority. Here, let me give you guys an answer of what phantom income is, okay? So you can understand. All right. So when they talk about the average car payment, all right, whenever you hear the average car payment, let's say like it's $500, okay? The average monthly car payment. The average means millions upon millions upon millions of unconscious slaves making the same financial decisions as one. They're all making the same decision of saying, this is how much a car payment is, okay? They all agree. right? $500 times 12, 1 year is $6,000. Okay, 6,000. When you can see negative numbers and you have no car payments, you now make $6,000 more per year than the average. You get it? Now you add that with the average mortgage payment, the average credit card payment. That's without interest, okay, slaves? I mean, people that know, that's without interest. Everything they pay and you don't, and they're paying interest on, that's phantom income in your pocket. That's called phantom income. So if you pay less in tax, they don't know the true purpose of 401ks. They just think, they really think it's for retirement and this and that. They don't have any money to put anything anywhere. So they don't know that doesn't exist. The true purpose of it's for taxes. It's like, look at it. Say like you have a job, you get out of debt. 401ks and HSA, they're going to give you practice of when you start to own your own business. Hey, this is how it kind of works. If you have no debt, you can take advantage of these type of taxes. That means you pay less in taxes, save your money at the same. That's how it works. It kind of gives you practice. It's you practice with a 401k and the HSA, like, oh shit, I can drop a tax bracket here. Millions of, because you have to have money to be able to do it. You have to have money to be able to fully fund a 401k to take advantage of the tax. But if you're in debt, there's no way you're coming close to putting $20,000 into a 401k in 1 year. You're not doing it. So that means you can't do it. That's how it works. It's called phantom income. I don't care what you guys are doing in the stock market with. All I know is I'm saving on taxes right now today. I'll just watch the market. Okay, it's about to flip flop. I'll just pull it out. Pull it out just before it flip flops. Put it somewhere else and wait till that wave is over and then put it back. Slaves, you guys don't know when the stock market's going to flip flop because you can't see negative numbers. You don't know. You got listen, slaves. You guys are the stock market. Yeah, I know you see companies in there, but they couldn't be in there without you, slaves. You think Apple could be there if you guys wasn't financing phones and watches and earbuds and earpods and all this other stuff? You think Apple would be there in the stock market? No, they couldn't be there without you, slaves. You think Warren Buffett could be who he is without you, slaves? You. How do you think Elon's going to Mars? You, slaves. You guys think that when you finance a Tesla, you think you're saving money on gas. You're not saving money on gas, slaves. You probably driving a Tesla right now. Let me tell you, if you finance it, listen. Open up your calculator. Put in your car payment minus your car balance and hit equal. Look out the calculator and just listen to my voice. Just listen to my voice. The reason why you think you're saving money on gas is because you can't see negative numbers. If you had a gas car, would you wait at a gas pump for an hour to fill your car? Then why are you waiting for an hour at a charging station? Because you're a slave. Only slaves do that. Slaves do that. Do you understand? Slaves do that. You're not saving money on gas, slave. You're right. Nobody ever fully funds a 401k because the average 65-year-old account is about 163,000. Exactly. They don't fully fund that 401k. So you better believe, because again, before I left my last job, you better believe my company noticed me that I did that. At the time I didn't know that. I didn't think like that, right? Here's an employee working for 5 years, for 5, 6, 7 years for this company, right? I go from barely just putting in the match, 20,000. You see what I'm saying? Pretty much the whole company getting the match, putting in the minimum they need to get because they always push it as, oh, that's free money. That's just bait, slaves. It ain't nothing free. Okay. Put in the match, 20,000. You better believe that got somebody's attention. Because that kind of stuff doesn't happen. Somebody could work there for 20 years just doing the match, doing the minimum deposit of the match or the contribution. They're not dropping 20,000. Man, when I saw, and also when I put that 20, you should have saw how fast my account start growing when I put that 20,000 in there. That account was moving so fast that it was getting so much growth in that 1 year and a half. I think I did about a year and a half before I quit. That account was growing so fast. Because you don't think about it like that. You okay? Yeah, you see, they tell you, they give you the pamphlet and say, hey, your account is going to grow this fast if you put this much. You will have this much by 65. Nobody knows to go in there and say, what happens if I put the full amount I can every single year, move the bar up and do the prediction? Oh my God. I started thinking, damn. And then all of a sudden, the first thing you think is like, can I go back and do it? They'd be like, nope, sorry, slave. If you ever say, hey, can I go back since I missed my 401k contributions the year and the year before that, if you're even asking that question, they already know, because slaves don't ask that question. They don't say, hey, can I put in past 401ks that I missed? Nope. And we know why you're asking, and the answer is no. The scary part is the average is different than the medium or more. Yeah, see, they got so many names for you guys stuff. That's funny. The HR call. Yeah, they called in a panic. They thought I made a mistake. Sure did. Never went to college. I saw the fitness my freshman year of high school. Never went to college. I saw that fitness. Oh, okay, my freshman year. Paying down your mortgage will give you a higher return. Sure will. Higher return. And you're probably thinking, well, how could a paid off house give higher returns than whatever you're seeing in the stock market? I'll tell you. I could tell you your returns if you paid off your house right now. I could tell you. You know that mortgage payment you're making every month? Just instead of giving that to the bank, imagine putting that just into your savings account every single month. Instead of giving it to the bank, you're putting it into your savings account. That's your return right there. I did that without a long spreadsheet, no finance professionals, no college degree in finance. I just showed you your return right there. By not having a mortgage, that's what your return is right there. Every single month. Now listen, every single month until you're dead. Every single month, that will be your return until you're dead. What's up, Wayne Omega? Now I know what SMD teach, what I teach here. It's a shocker, right? I get it. I get why the hesitation on consultations. I get it. Because I'm asking you to take a ginormous red pill. But I'm just telling you guys right now, that price goes up as more people understand who I am, because that's taking my personal time. I'm just helping you. I'm helping you guys skip the line. I'm here to help you skip the financial line right now. You want to be rich, you want to be wealthy, or whatever you want, whatever name you want to put on it, you put on whatever name you want on it, okay? Whatever you want. I'm gonna help you skip the line by giving you the ability, teaching you the ability to see negative numbers. I help you skip the line, meet the right people, all that. So LJ, should I save to pay cash for a house instead of investing in my 401k? I suggest this. I suggest if you're debt free, and I strongly, I'd be looking for a house, but there's different ways to do it though. I say, because when you say save for a house, you're thinking straight, oh, I got to save dollar for dollar to then I have to use to buy the house, right? There's different ways to do it. What I strongly suggest is get with a person that's debt free and say, hey man, I was listening to SMD. SMD says I should open a business or start a business, put my house under the business name, and then rent from my house. He said that'll somehow help me better on taxes and pay off the house and faster and this and that. You find somebody that understands that, because you got to stop thinking that you're going to pay for a house the regular way. What you want to do is what my plan is doing. My house is going to be under a business name, and I'm going to rent from my business. That's going to help me pay. That's going to help me pay off the house. Like right now, people don't even really pay attention to what, like, look what Elon Musk do. So you guys can kind of get an idea. Elon Musk sold his houses or house in Texas or where, or somewhere, California or something, whatever, right? Now he has one of those manufactured box homes that are on the SpaceX property. He rents that place from SpaceX, which he owns. That's where he lives now. He got a small little studio block, something, whatever, on the property of SpaceX somewhere, right? And he rents from the company, which he owns. See what I'm saying? That's how you do it. The ultimate goal is to personally own nothing. So when you have money and you say you rent or whatever, you let slaves believe whatever they want to believe. But slaves don't know to say, hey, by the way, LJ, who are you renting from? The only thing they say is, oh, you're making your landlord rich. You're a slave to your landlord. You say to yourself, whatever you want to believe, slave, whatever you want to believe. Now you think to yourself, wait a minute, he's got billions of dollars. Why would he do that? That's what you got to think to yourself. Why would a billionaire rent a small little thing on top of the business he owns or whatever, right? Because you don't need all that stupid shit. You don't need none of that. Of course he can. Of course he can buy what you guys think he should be having, a big ridiculous mansion with a whole bunch of rooms and 15 bathrooms and a 20-car garage. Why? What's the purpose of that? And if you believe that that place that he lives there, that's the only, if you believe that, that's totally up to you. If you just believe that's the only place he lives, that's the only place you guys know about. Billionaires know currency doesn't exist. They know that, you guys. You guys don't know. You guys don't know currency in any form doesn't exist for you. So when you look at Warren Buffett, oh man, look, he's a multi-billionaire. He's got, look at Hathaway and this and that stuff. Okay, yeah, that's. I mean, I'm not knocking his business, what he's done, but you guys are so focused on the money, you guys don't understand the money doesn't even exist. You think because you think Warren goes home and he's like, man, let me just count all this money. Let me just see how much money I have. They don't even think about money like that, slaves. Elon just did that because that's what he loves. That's why he's got a place there, because he loves his vision. It don't feel like you when you're doing your own thing and your own vision. It don't feel like you're working for hours. It doesn't at all. Time doesn't even seem to exist, really. When you love what you do, you're not looking at the clock, seeing what time you can go home. You don't do that. You barely even look at the clock. I am the answer. Do you understand? There is no mistaken. There is no maybe. Everything I say, I can prove. I'm one of the only motivational speakers that can actually prove what he's saying. I can change your life, 100% guaranteed. I can change your financial life, guaranteed, and can prove it. Once you get a consultation, I'll lay it out and say, you want to be free? Yeah, this is all you got to do right there. That's it right there. You'll know why. What's the reason why I'm saying whatever I'm saying? You'll see mathematically, financial, you'll see everything. But if you look at it and you say, well, I don't believe the math, even though I double checked it myself, that'll be your problem. Say like you signed up for a consultation, got a plan, but you decided you wasn't going to start this plan to you, and you really didn't start the plan to like seriously to about 2 or 3 years later. When you finally do, and then you have all of a sudden have the ability to see negative numbers, you're gonna be so angry at yourself. You're gonna be so mad at yourself. Because everybody says it. Everybody that opens up their eyes, they're like, oh man, had I known this when I was in my 20s, had I known this, everybody says it, including myself. You're gonna stop wasting time on so much stuff, man. Especially like gossip. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. When it comes to gossip, once you're able to see negative numbers and you look at gossip, you're gonna be so mad at yourself. You're gonna be so mad at yourself. You mean all these people, the majority of these people are slaves just fighting them? That's it. Slaves fighting amongst themselves, talking about money and what you should do with how to be rich. They all say the same thing. Rich people said this. Wealthy said that. The wealthy use debt. The wealth. Are you wealthy? Are you wealthy? I don't care what you saw on TV, what the wealthy do. I'm asking you, are you wealthy? Then why would a wealthy person talk to you? Why would they tell you anything? You got student loan debt. Why would they talk to you? Why would the wealthy waste their time on somebody that doesn't even own themselves and don't even know they don't own themselves? You guys don't even know you don't own yourself. Most of this content is free, but you want to accelerate it? Hey, it's going to cost you. Yeah, it's not, that's not free. I got people paying off their houses. I know about 4 people now that have a solid plan of what year. They're telling me what year their house will be paid off, and even before that year, they're already figuring out ways how to shorten that time that the mark they already have. Oh man, I learned I could do this and cut that, and I can put this more. They're cutting even the date that they have set. They're still trying to cut it down. I have 2 people have already cut like 3 or 4 months off. Man, LJ, I never looked at it that way, man. I didn't know I was a homeowner. I know millions of people don't. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Millions of people call themselves homeowners and have no idea that they're not. Why? Because they can't see negative numbers. They don't know that they're not homeowners. You think the housing market could be hot if they knew they were not homeowners? The housing market could not be hot. You know why it couldn't be hot? Because the housing market couldn't even exist if they knew that. Imagine the millions of people adding the equity of properties that they don't even own into their financial portfolios personally. Can you imagine how many people are doing that? Wait a minute. Oh yeah, yeah, I got about $100,000 in equity in this house over here. Do you own a house? No, then why do you think you own the equity if you don't own a house? That's impossible. And just think. Sometimes when they want to get loans, listen. When they go get loans, they do this. They put this information to submit it to the banks and say, "Hey, look, this is what I got. I got this much equity and this and that." And I bet you the banks they just be laughing. They probably thinking these guys think they own the equity in our properties. That's why they came up with the DTI, debt to income ratio, because you guys don't know. If you need an outside entity with some kind of ratio to tell you about your finances, you're a slave. You are the only one that needs to know about how much money you got, not some outside entity. But since you don't know, that's how they determine that. DTI is how they determine if they can, when they're going to send you to the subprime sharks. That's how they determine if they're going to put you to the subprime people. Payday loan places, 20-30% interest rate car loans, afterpay, earning app, all those things. Those are called the subprime sharks. That's where they send you using that DTI measurement. They say, okay, this is where they're just a useless slave to us. Once you reach a 40, 50 percentile, whatever, they just toss you. And then that's when the subprime sharks, the subprime piranha, they pick your financial bones dry. That's how they do it. I mean, they do you guys. I mean, they do you guys so fucking bad. Ooh, they do you guys so bad. Ooh, they figured out a way. They figured out a way. They figured out a way. Since you can't even make it to your next paycheck, they're like, okay, fuck. They're not even doing paycheck to paycheck. Okay, we got to drop that. How can we get to their money before they even get it? How can we be? Everybody's going to be second to the IRS. Believe that IRS is first, always, in every situation. Okay. All right. How can we get in after the IRS and before the bank? Let's get to their checks before that happens. Now they got you guys they got you guys running apps, tracking where you're going, how much, I mean, you got to submit they got to have direct access to your bank accounts. I mean, it is bad. I mean, they got to have full access to your bank account, and you got to give them permission to do it. They're just financially raping you. And then after they're done with you, and then you got to pay all these other bills with interest rate. Oh, mm, it is just horrible. It is horrible. Sure is. That's exactly what they're doing. Oh man. But let me tell you something. Those of you families that been in this generations, congratulations. These schools, like when they teach this information, let me tell you guys something so you guys can really get it. These type of schools, they can fit in the neighborhoods. You guys wouldn't even know it's a school because you don't need that many people. Not that many kids or adult, however they do it. I don't even know how they organize it anyway, but it's not that many people in the room in the class. You wouldn't even be able to tell. You just think somebody's having a get together or something, right? Because not that many people know this information. They don't need a big ass campus, University of so and so, and this. They don't need any of that. Hey, this is what you can do with negative numbers. I bet you that all they teach is what they can do financial, like if it's a straight financial class, and then they have different classes. This is what you can do. This is how you could pick the right person. As long as you understand negative numbers, let me make sure you guys are clear with this. As long as you can see negative numbers, you'll know how to pick your relationships. You'll know who to have sex with, who to have kids with, who to be your friends. You will know everything you need to know. You won't have to worry about, oh, should you get married in 2021? Should you not date this type? Should you not go out of the country and get this woman? All you need to know is like this: are they a slave or not? Hey, we're going out on a date. You going out with Dr. So-and-so. He has his own business or whatever. Do you got student loans? Yeah, that's a slave. Because now when you understand negative numbers and somebody mentions that, hey, so-and-so is a doctor, this is a lawyer, you when you're out of the debt matrix, this is what you turn to slave and say, why are you telling me about their profession? They ain't got nothing to do with anything. Some of the people you guys know with the biggest profession, those are the slaves that are deepest in the debt. They're the ones that are the deepest in debt. Ask them, hey man, you still got your student loans? Yeah, they're in deep debt. Slaves think having student loans is normal. They think it's normal. They think it's normal to keep student loans for 20 years. They think that shit is normal. Usually less than 20 per class, private and remote, fencing, archery, horseback riding. You better fucking believe it. You better believe it. Hey, wealthy people, I'm going to see that shit one day. I'm telling you, I'm going to see it. I know you guys been hiding in plain sight. Congratulations. I did not see it. And I'm not saying I might be into it. I just want to be there to see it. That's all. I just want to see it. I want to see how you guys do it. See how quiet it is. See how that's don't have to worry about scamming and scheming and lying to people and stealing money and hiding money and doing all that. What is it like for a full bliss of peace where you could have a $10,000 like you ever would, but I'm saying $10,000 and leave it on the table and accidentally go to your room and come back and the $10,000 is still there. Somebody probably call you to your room. Excuse me, sir. Yeah, you accidentally left $10,000 on the table. Would you like us to the concierge to bring it to you? Water polo, field hockey. I'm gonna know it all. I'm gonna see it all. Hey, Mr. Buffett, if you hear me, I'm gonna be there. Okay, Mr. Bezos. Yeah, I'm gonna be in that room too, where you guys smoke the cigars. Well, that's how they make it look on TV, but I want to see how it really looks. The movies are showing me one thing. I want to see how it really looks. They're gonna say, knock, knock, knock. Yeah, what's the password? I can see negative numbers. Come on in. They'd be like, whoa, wait, hey, you're new here, buddy. Yeah, I woke up late. That's all. I'm here though. Now, why do I gotta wear that outfit for water polo? Why I gotta do that? I'm just happy to be here. Okay. I'm extremely happy. Uh, I feel like I'm wearing a Superman cape. I'm like, damn, I didn't have to go through nothing. I mean, yeah, I had to go through the pain to be able to see this to get this gift. Usually less than 20 per class, private, remote. Yep. See, I knew it, man. I knew it. I wish I mean when I did that, when I fully funded my 401k that year, I wish I could have really understood what I did because I didn't know what I did at that time. I was like, this because I remember just doing it, it just made sense. I was like, wait a minute. You mean if I fully fund it, I'm gonna go from the 30 something, whatever my tax bracket was back then, down to a low 30s or late 20s or whatever the tax bracket was I was like, wait a minute. So that means I would pay, not only will I pay less in taxes, I'll take that same amount of money. Listen, the same amount of money that's being taken off my annual income, the same amount of money is entered into the retirement account earning interest or doing whatever the Vanguard said it's going to do, whatever. I don't really give a shit, but go ahead. Yeah. It's a win-win. I did something millions of people will never even do. Every time, listen, and this is how you guys. I'm giving you guys some advice to know who's full of shit about money or not. Okay, so you can understand. Anybody you think that's smart with money and they're doing their 401k, right? You say, hey man, are you fully funding your 401k? If they turn to you and say, yeah man, I'm getting the match, they don't know shit about money. That's not what you're talking about. Fully fund is 19,500 or whatever it is this year. I don't even know if it's 20,000, 19,500, whatever, right? Fully fund means $19,500. I'm just the one you could see. There's bigger numbers than that. I'm just want to stick with the one you guys can see. Okay. See how many people say, oh yeah, man, I'm putting the full 20,000 in there. See how many people say that? Not many. But all you got to do is this. If you want to know if they're fully funding their 401k or not, say, are you making car payments? Yeah, then they're not. Because if you're making car payments, you're not fully funding your 401k because you can't. Why? Because you're making car payments. Because if you're making car payments, you obviously didn't even have the money to buy the car that you're driving. That's why you're making payments. So if you're making car payments, of course you're not fully funding your 401k. You can't. That's why this again, I always like to do this. Take the money that you have in your savings, open your calculator, take the money that you have in your savings, minus your total student loan debt and hit equal. Okay. Now look at your calculator and listen while at the same time listening to the sound of my voice. The reason why you can't fully fund the 401k is because you can't see negative numbers. You can't see negative numbers. That's why. Look at the calculator. That's why you can't do that. More impressed is when they say they fully funded their HSA and Roth IRA first. Exactly. All that. You see all that? All that. When you get out of debt, you look for everything that gives you a tax break. That's number one. That's right off the bat. What do you guys have to offer that will bring down my tax bracket? Oh, 401k, HSA, anything the government's offering. Hey, you do this, we'll take a tax off this. That's what you go for right there. Boom. And then when you're done with that, then you go over to the after stuff. Get all that out the way if you want. Because you got to remember, slaves, listen, this is how you know understand with the people with the money. If they're not fully funding all those things, they don't have any money. Because you got to remember this. If you fully fund the 401k and the HSA, that's immediate money. That's guaranteed money. Guaranteed. This is how it works, so you guys can understand. So you guys don't. You guys, when you don't have money, you can't do this. Okay, you can't see negative numbers. You fully fund the 401k. You get to put 19,000 away for your retirement, and you get to take $19,000 off of your annual income that same year. You fully fund the HSA, which is your health savings account. You fully fund it. Say like the family, I think the family is like 6,500, right? So say like you fully funded 6,500. So you get to take off 19,500 same year, and then an additional 6,500. Add that together, you get to take that off of your annual income. Oh wait, it's not over yet. Okay, it's not over yet. You know the you know the 20% you usually have left to pay out-of-pocket medical expenses. Okay, the slaves, they don't have any money, so they use their money from their paycheck, which has already been taxed once, right? But you pull out your HSA card and you pay the 20% out-of-pocket fees with that, because that's tax-free, that's tax deductible. So basically, the government saying, hey, since you used our way, we'll go ahead and we'll just not tax the money that you use to pay for this out-of-pocket medical expenses. That's like win-win. That's like double dipping. You see what I'm saying? Double dipping on the 401k, double dipping on the HSA. That's double dipping. For people who can see negative numbers. Slaves don't know that. Slaves don't know that. That's why, when you're in debt, you think, Man, that's weird, man. You can be paying all these years for medical, and you still got a 20% out of pocket expense. Well, for slaves, yeah, for slaves. That's for slaves. But if you don't want to pay, you don't have to. You could pay it, but a different way. One you can see, and one you can't. The 401k and HSA make the taxable Roth and whole life insurance possible. See, it gets the rabbit hole just keeps getting deeper and deeper. See, Andre, he's down in the rabbit hole with no flashlight. He don't even need a light anymore. I still have my light. Okay, so imagine Andre way deep down the hole. I'm saying, Andre, he's saying, yeah, Andre, yeah, but my light don't flash that deep. I still can't see him. It just said, keep coming. And it sounds like his voice gets closer. And then when I say, Andre, and then it's farther again. And so I'm hitting my flashlight. My batteries are flickering. He's like, hey, you better get new batteries. How are you powering that flashlight? Regular batteries? That's your problem, LJ. That's your problem. You're using regular batteries. He's like, why are you even using the flashlight? That's the problem. You think you need a flashlight. See, that's what he's gonna say. And I'm gonna get closer. He's gonna say, why do you think you're in a hole? Who told you that? How you know you're not in the square? How you know that? How you know you're in anything? How you know you're even moving? Are you standing still or are you walking? That's what it feels like sometimes. It really does. Sometimes it feels like that. I'm like, yeah, I found the answer, negative numbers. No, that's step one, LJ. That's step one. Yeah, that's step one. Welcome to step one. LJ, yeah, everybody feels like Superman in step one, LJ. Everybody does. You still got diapers on. But these people are not mean. They're out here to help you. You can trust them. You can trust them. Step one puts me in the 1%. You're right. See, the riddles get harder. All right, you guys, I got to wrap this up, man. I've been here talking 2.5 hours, man. All right. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Until next time. All right. Have a good one. Later.